We're really excited to have with us here today Teo Tijerina to talk about Hera and what Hera is doing in the ecosystem and how it's changing women's health and improving women's health globally. Hi, Teo. How are you? And we'll make sure that Teo gets the video camera going. Hopefully, Teo, you can jump online here as well. There you are. Always good to see Teo. Teo,
Yes. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you and where are you?
I'm actually in Monterrey, Mexico right now at our offices. And I apologize for being a few minutes late. Somehow I got my calendar messed up. So it's good to see you.
No. Great to have you. Tell us a little bit about Hera and what Hera does.
Definitely. So we are an early stage diagnostic company. We are part of many diagnostic companies that are using latest technologies to move diagnosis to the point of care to make it real time, whether it's at the clinical setting or at the home setting, which is in many cases as well. We are starting out with the use of optoelectrical spectroscopy, which is a fancy word for light and electricity, to take tissue measurements, and we're able to, via these tissue measurements and statistical analysis, because cancer cells change when there is a lesion, the nucleus grows larger, there's some morphological changes. We are able to measure the absorption of light and the way it conducts electricity, look at those changes and able to determine pretty much real time the existence of a cancer lesion, even at the pre-cancer stage. So that's the first technology we're starting with. The first application is on the cervical cancer space. I actually put together a few slides if you want me to show those.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, let me share my screen. And I apologize that our CTO had a minor medical emergency.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And he had to go in for some minor treatment, so he was not able to join us. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, fantastic. So this is HeraFem. It's our first device for the cervical cancer diagnosis. The first application will really be a screening application. So we are positioning HeraFem first in the Mexican market as a replacement to the Pap smear, which in middle income and low income countries, for many reasons that are widely documented, particularly having to do with following protocols and having sufficient number of pathologists, the accuracy of the Pap smear is quite low in middle and low income countries. And we are going to go to market hopefully by the middle of 2023. And this is a device. It's a point of care device. It uses a disposable sleeve, and there's one sleeve that's used with every exam, and that's basically how it works. You know, the main principles is the main idea is that we're very affordable, and particularly for emerging economies. We can do this at the cost or lower than pathology. Very accurate results, no need for a laboratory, no taking of a sample, no need for a lab, no need for pathology. So it provides a lot of advantages, including patient experience. When we talk to patients, many patients love the idea of not having to wait for results, which is something that is quite creates a lot of anxiety for women. When we talk to practitioners, and particularly in Mexico, they love the idea of being able to make more money. So because they're not sending this out to laboratories, they can charge the full amount that they charge for a Pap smear. They get to keep 100% of the revenue. So. This is basically the what I was mentioning before. It uses electrical impedance and optical spectroscopy, and we're able to detect about 1 cubic centimeter below the surface, and we do about 20 different touch points that take about a second each around the cervix, and are able to make a real-time diagnosis on a screen. As I was mentioning earlier, the principles are basically that when there's dysplasia, there are morphological changes in the cells, the size of the nucleus changes, the circumference. So by shining different frequencies of light and using different microvoltages below the threshold of what is the sensation is, we can measure these differences and compare them to a healthy cell. And we've done one clinical study. I'll fast forward there and come back to these. We've done one clinical study of around, I think it was 225 women in Guadalajara, Mexico. And only about 10% of the patients had cancer. So we were able to get a very good sensitivity. Specificity is better than the pap smear in these countries, but we are planning to improve it by doing a training exercise here very soon before we go to market of 150 cancer patients. So we expect to be about 85% specificity before we get to market, but we were able to get a sensitivity of 91%. Just to give you an idea, in this study, we compared ourselves to the gold standard, which is the biopsy. And then we compared ourselves to the pap smear. The pap smears in the study, I believe, came in at around 35%, I believe, sensitivity, which is quite low, which means that out of 10 women that have cancer, 5 or 6 of them are being sent home and told that they're okay, which is quite surprising. The data we've seen on the pap smear, depending on which study you're looking at, the sensitivity is as low as 30% and as high as 65, 70, 80%, depending on the controls. But most doctors we talk to in Mexico, surveys we've done of at least over 100 doctors, they're aware that the pap smear is not the most accurate screen in their country, and they have it somewhere around the 50 to 60% range. So this is we do
This is
use
great. We've got about 1 more minute, Teo.
Yeah, we do use artificial intelligence, and I'll go back to this slide. We do use artificial intelligence where we will be collecting data from the install base. The data is then used to improve the detection algorithm. We go back to the Mexican FDA to get a small study to use the new detection algorithm, and then we can update the install base already in the field with the new detection algorithm after approval. So that's a quick summary of HeraFem and Hera Diagnostics, and happy to answer any questions.
Now you got lots of questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Again, if everyone could please just email or link in with Teo. The link.
Yeah, I do have my email address that's needed for LinkedIn. I don't know how would be the best way to provide that. I guess I could provide it in the chat room. So
that'd be great. Thank you very much, Teo. Thanks for joining.